Oh yeah!
Welcome to another increasingly frequent look at a new character headed to Dirty Bomb in the near future. This time we look eastwards to South Korea to meet our newest medic, Guardian. As you've seen from the splash damage announcement video, Mr. Shu explained the overall design of Guardian, and it's fair to say that some of Reddit and the forums and Discord, the theory crafting went into overdrive. People started to talk like Guardian was going to nullify people's favourite heroes, render current competitive strats obsolete, and generally throw a cat amongst the pigeons. I'm happy to say that after a few matches playing Guardian, that most of the fears I had about her Skyshield ability being overpowered have been assuaged. But this made me want to talk more about the DB meta and what that means going forward now these regular additions are going into the game. As far as Guardian's Skyshield goes, well, it's kind of wrong to think of it as a shield in the traditional sense. This isn't a glowing area you can DPS down to remove it from the battlefield. Think of it more as a defined area where projectiles are neutralized. No quantity of airstrikes or grenades will destroy it while it's active. You deploy the Skyshield by throwing down the really quite adorable drone, and that little guy activates the aerial defenses. It only takes 1 second to deploy, and he has 90 health. And also, if we don't get a trinket of this little dude at some point, I'm going to be quite upset. But anyway, what's perhaps surprising is that the shield is probably best used in a reactive way, rather than purely for area denial. Guardian's passive works like a super Guardian Angel perk, giving you info about incoming attacks, and therefore opportunity to deploy your Skyshield. The drone itself is only up for 10 seconds before it goes back on cooldown, so it's not something like an Aura Station or Turtle Shield that stays deployed until it's destroyed. What's more, as the little drone dude needs line of sight for the projectiles to destroy them, he needs to be placed in an area that's normally quite exposed. With only 90 health, he's easy prey for the enemy team. In fact, the less you think of the Skyshield as a shield, the quicker you get used to perhaps baiting its deployment, killing it quickly with normal primary weapon fire, and then using your projectile abilities. It's fair to say that for many longer-term DB players, we aren't accustomed to such timely content being added repeatedly. The concept of an ever-changing, never-stable meta is probably more foreign to DB than it is to a community like Overwatch or Paladins. But this is increasingly looking like a new age of DB. We're getting regular changes and additions. This means not only that there's new content to get excited about, but there's also real opportunity for the DB team to iterate on changes to existing things in the game. An example of this is the Javelin launch. People said they wanted better telegraphing of her firing her rocket, and the dev team responded with those changes. And perhaps you still think there's room to tweak her further, and that's a fair viewpoint. What I'm trying to say is that we perhaps need to get used to DB being a place where the first implementation of things isn't where they eventually end up. That's why new Mercs are excluded from rank play. Everyone needs time to get used to the new arrival, and they need time to mature into their place in the DB ecosystem. So in this vein, I'd say there will probably be changes to Guardian post-release based on data and user feedback. I'd start that by saying that I think there are some things I'd like to be tweaked already, such as the range of her passive ability and the amount of XP she earns, and so on. But bear in mind, I was playing a pre-release version of the game, with additions still to come. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the final release build feels on Tuesday, and giving feedback based on that. Perhaps the most surprising aspect of Guardian for me was her revive. It felt great to use, far more intuitive and wieldable than I'd actually been expecting. The floating bubble mechanic actually works really quickly, so you can pop revive multiple teammates with an almost Sparks-like speed. What's more, if you want to revive with more health, then you can charge that revive just like you would imagine. But while you're charged, it doesn't actually blunt your movement too much. You can effectively pre-charge the revive on people you think are about to be killed, and then full res them in an instant. It doesn't have that super long-range projection of Sparks Reviver, but the ability to pick up multiple teammates at once is very powerful. So does it feel odd playing a medic with no heal ability? Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I'd noticed it a few times. but her ability to respond to incoming fire and provide quick revives, I can see why including a heal on top of that might have given her too much impact in the game. At the moment, she's certainly a medic who should be paired with another Merc such as Aura to provide that sustain that she misses herself. I'm sure this will be a talking point for the community on release, so I'll be keeping an eye on how people react. But for me, I wondered if there was a possibility of having her Skyshield drone perform an out-of-combat heal on teammates as well. That wouldn't give any more sustain in firefights, but it might help with that sort of powerless feeling you get when teammates ask for a quick top-up heal. The new weapons we saw in the teaser video make up the default Guardian loadout, and to be honest, for me they are the best weapons added to DB in quite a long time. The AR is the on-the-nose named Hurtsall 2K, think a long-range Christini and you're in the right place. High rate of fire, emphasis on tracking, yet still does decent damage. It even has some OK ADS sights, which is a bonus. The sound is good if not spectacular, but the overall feel for me was to make it preferable to the M4 now. The pistol is the Hoigat .224, a high magazine, less damage, but that reduction didn't make it feel too weak to be honest. I tend to only swap to my secondary when I've missed all my primary shots, so lots of shots, it makes a decent sound, and the new pistol feels really fun to use. It's a unique design too, although the not great ADS sights mark it down slightly, but who really uses those regularly anyway? I'm looking forward to seeing Guardian protect the skies around London on Tuesday, and excited to see how the community takes to her unique abilities and role. DB is a game where before there were no direct counters, certainly not in the mode of a rock-paper-scissors setup like other games have. As Merc picks are limited to 3, the design of each needs to accommodate that fact, and therefore not be pushed into the periphery of possible abilities. So for example, a Mercy-like character would feel very out of place in DB. And yet, with more Mercs now being added on a regular basis, we will inevitably see an inadvertent counter of abilities as those numbers of Mercs rise. So we'll have to see how the balance of meta of Dirty Bomb progresses. So although competitive players might not want to see their strats to be outdated or nullified, DB has to keep moving and progressing for the health of the game and the health of the community at large. I'm really very interested to know what you're thinking about Guardian. How do you think she'll change the landscape of DB? If you're a medic player, do you think she'll be an addition to your squad? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below right now. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to support me making these videos, then just hit that subscribe button. It helps me grow the channel and make future videos. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at LCTRgames. There's a link in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.